So in this particular component in the TS file, I have just so in the component.ts, we declared some variables, that is some properties like total employee account, that is nothing but total number of employees in the account department, total number of employees in the development department. So in the employee department, there are 5. In employee development, there are 20. Okay, so this is where and salary number is equal to 5,000. Okay. So now in this part of it, I have two methods. It is total employee accounts, where I'm trying to count the total number of employees in accounts department. And in employee department, I'm trying to subtract it. So increment and decrement. So this is what we are trying to do in this particular method. So in HTML, I'm just displaying I'm invoking the method here. So we will just see that. So when I click on this employee count, you will be just getting the values here. Okay, so this is what we have done in this. So now for this, we are writing the specs. So in this part of it is, so now what exactly is happening here is, I will just try to comment this. Okay. So in this part of it is, so this is the one which is being given along with your component. So I am ignoring this part of it. Later on, we'll just see this, because if fixtures and all are there, still I have not explained you what is a fixture. So I just commented this part of it. So I have just described one employee component. So in this particular component, so here we are writing a test case. So the name of the test case is total number of employees in accounts department. So here what I'm doing is I'm creating an instance of that particular component, and one more method where I'm trying to display the total number of employees in development. So here also I have initialized the object for this. Okay, so now after this, what I'm doing is I'm just using expect, that is I'm expecting that employee.total employees in the account department to equal to 4. Okay, but what is that, how many are there? So I have given it as accounts 5 and development 20. So in accounts, it should increment, and in development, it should decrement. That is what is the method is doing. So now here what I did is, here I'm just telling that it should be equal to 4. Means when it is increment, account number is incrementing. So if it is equal to 4, it is not matching. So the test is failure. If I just give 6, so if I just give 6 here, the test is passed. Why? Because it is 5, 5 plus 1, it is 6. So it is incrementing it. Okay, so if I give 4, the test is failure. If I give 5, 6, the test is passed. So now similarly in department you take it, I have given there as 20. So minus it is. So if I just give it as here 20 minus 1, that is 19, then the test is passed. Otherwise, if the test is failed. Okay, so I'm just checking for the equality. So what is that exactly I'm doing is, I'm trying to retrieve the information from the component and just checking it. So whether it is performing the behaviorally, it is performing the task correctly or not. When it is incrementing 5 plus 1, it should be 6. So tomorrow, if you give some other value, whether it is going to increment or not, you're going to test it. So for that particular purpose, we are just declaring an object of that, creating an instance of that particular component, and then we are trying to call that particular method, and I'm just checking this. Okay, so let us just check what exactly happens here. So now I'll stop this compilation and I will give ng test. So 18 pending, and then it is giving 2 failures. So both are failed. Why is it? Because expected 5 to equal 6, expected 20 to be equal to 19. Okay, so now it is, and we are just calling it so that it is giving us the error message here. Okay, let us just see what it is happening here. Now expected 5 it is. So now I'll just change it to 5, and this is expected to 20. Now you just see again, I will just execute it. So now you can just see 0 failure, because now I am trying to invoke it, total number of employees, it is correct. 5 is correct. So now it is working correctly. Okay, so this part of it is working properly. So now what I want to do is, here, why I'm telling is, individually I have instantiated the objects here. In this, I have instantiated, and here also I am trying to give the instantiation of this particular. So now if I write 10, 20 test cases, for every time should I do this part of the process, in everywhere I need to just create an instance. So that is not the right method of using it. So for that purpose, what I'm doing is, I'll just remove this part of it. So I'll just comment it. Okay. So now here in this method, what I'll do is, I'll create the instance here. So now what I'm doing is, I'm creating an instance globally for all the tests. So for all the tests, I'm trying to create it globally now. So now when I'm creating it globally, so what exactly is happening now here? I not need to test. So this particular object is used for all the entire component. So now here I will just make the changes now. What is the mistake I had done? Can you identify? What is the changes I need to do?
मैम टू इक्वल 4 की जगह 6 लिखना है और 19 की जगह 20. No, ma'am. When you compile that in a test, it was showing that error. Expected 6 to be equal to 6.
Argument of type number is
Type
not
number.
assigned.
Argument of type number is not assigned to the parameter. So what is the mistake?
In accept.
Accept. What is that I should change? If I give like this, it will work. This is the change I need to make. Okay, because here I'm initializing to this. Let emp div is equal to emp dot total. Okay. So now one failed, one success. So now you just see here, one is failed and one is success. Why is it? Because there I'm incrementing it. So 5 plus 1 is 6. Here I'm decrementing it. So 20 minus 1 should be 19. So that's why this is passed and this is failed. Okay, let us see now the output. So you can see here, expected 19 equal to 20. So this is part of it is failed. So you can just observe that what was the difference that between this. Previously what I did is I have instantiated within the method itself, that is within the test case. So here also within the test case, I have instantiated, that is I have created an instance of that particular component. But when I have a number of test cases, I cannot do that particular task. In every test case, I cannot create an instance. So I need to have a way where that I can create an instance only once and use that particular instance in other test cases. So for that part of it, what I did, I removed this instance here from this and this method. I made this instance outside that. So where I have created here. Okay, so I have created here and then I started utilizing it. So similarly, I can also create, instead of creating like this, the instance, what I can do is I can create an object for this particular component and create an instance. So what is that? Why the next part of it is, now I have created this instance and I am trying to use that particular instance here and here. So the next part of it, what I want to do is, I want to create one object for this particular instance. So I'll just comment this part and I'll remove this. So I'm declaring an object here. So let emp colon, this is the object and I'm creating an instance here. Okay, so now before each, what is the meaning of this before each? Is before each and every test case is being executed. Okay, before each and every test case is being executed, what I can do is I can just instantiate this, create an instance. Automatically this instance will be initialized. So I have given emp is equal to new employee component before each. Before each means how many test cases are there? Now 2 test cases are there. So what is that before each will do is, for each and every test, before this particular test case is executed, the instance has been created. So again, for this, whenever this particular one has been executed, the instance is created. So similarly, after each, so after creating this, executing this, I just wanted to initialize that particular instance to be null. So emp is equal to null. So after executing this, again the instance should become null, and then before executing this, the instance should be created, and after the execution of this, the instance should be null. So you can use before each and after each. That is one thing. The second thing is you can also use before all, after all. So what is the difference between before each is, for each and every test case, this will be executed. Okay. Similarly, for each and every test case, after execution, this will be executed. Before all means, before all these test cases are executed, this will be executed first. After all means, after this and this has been executed, this particular one has been executed. So you can just use before or after, before each, after each, before all, after all, based upon your requirement, what you are trying to use it. So for example, you have one particular function you have written to get the information from the database. So you have, after writing that particular function, what you want to do is, before getting the details, you wanted to create an instance. After finishing that, what you want to do is you need to close that particular instance. In that case, you use before each, after each. For all the methods, you wanted that instance to be created, and after completing all the test cases, you want the instance to be closed. Then you use before all, after all. So based upon your requirement, you can just use this part of it. So if you create an instance here, then for this particular test case only, the instance will be executed. If you create this instance outside this part of it, this will help you to display for all. But again, you need to create an call everything. So what you can do is you can create an object and then create an instance when you wanted. So before each and everything you wanted, just to give like this, so that this will be used for both the test cases. So that is where you can just use these arrow functions. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
So any queries on this? So this concept, we call this as setup and then tear down. So this part is, what is setup? We are setting up the instance. Okay. And slowly what we are doing is we are tearing down, means we are trying to reduce it, so that what will happen is, if you are using before each and after each, it will be helpful for us. So that is the reason we call this concept, means initializing within the method and then initializing outside the method and using before each and after each. We call this as setup. When you are setting it up within the method, it is called as setup. Within the test case, it is setup. And then we slowly, what we are doing is we are bringing that outside. So we are telling that tearing down. So that is where they call this a setup and tearing down concept. So is it clear, all of you? Hey, today you people are not in mood. I think something is different today. Working on project.
We are listening to you and working on project.
Okay. You are implementing in your projects this test case, or you are simply working on this?
No, I'm not implementing the test case. We are listening the test case from you and working on the project.
Okay, fine. Okay, so now the next concept I'll explain, and then I'll give time. You can just try to test your components. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So the next part of it is called as arrange, act, assert. It is called as AAA pattern. It is called as AAA pattern, AAA pattern. So what is this AAA pattern? Is arrange. First A is for arrange, second A is for act, and the third A is for assert. So what is this AAA? We'll see now. Okay, I will just comment this so that this method will not be executed now for time being. We'll see later that comment. Okay, so now this is where exactly I'm trying to use this AAA. So what is this AAA is? Now first thing is assert, arrange, act, and assert. So now arrange means what exactly you're doing? Setting up the test cases for the objects. So whichever the objects you are trying to create. So you're going to set up the objects for that. So whether you are using, whether you are using a component, or whether you are trying to test a service, or whether you are trying to test a pipe. So a pipe, when you will be testing a pipe, that is when you are trying to create your own custom pipes. So for built-in pipes, you need not test it. For the custom, I mean, you can test it, but for built-in pipes, if you would like to test something, then you can either for pipes, components, services, directives, you can just use this particular AAA part of it. So for all the components, then in the thing is first you need to set up and create an instance, create an object for this. Or if you would like to initialize something, you can just use the concept of initializing. So that is where you are using the concept of arrange. So in arrange, it is nothing but you create an object. So I am creating an instance of that particular component. So let emp is equal to new employee component. So we are trying to instantiate, that is creating an instance. The next is act. So what is this act? Execute the necessary functionalities. So you can execute the necessary functionalities, what you want to do on a methods which you are declared in the components. So now whatever the methods you have declared, so the methods will be having some sort of a functionality. So let us just go to this part of it. So now here I have declared one particular method called as bonus offer. So this particular bonus offer method is having certain sort of a functionality. So it may be whatever the functionality you want to write, you can just write it. So here let bonus is equal to false. Actually, this is not needed. So bonus is equal to true or false. I'm just checking it. This, if the total number of employees are greater than 10, then their salary is being incremented to 1,000. If it is greater than some sort of logic, you can write whatever the logic you have given. For that, I'm writing this particular method. So for this particular method, whatever the functionality you have written, you would like to test it. For that, necessary things, whatever you want, that you need to test. So for that, so here you write under act. So here let is bonus is equal to employee dot bonus offer. So I'm just checking it for this part of it. So then next is assert. What is this assert? Is it verifies the functionality. It verifies the functionality, whether the function is there or not. Then it verifies the what is that that particular method is being expected. So what is the result, what that particular method is being expected, because you are acting on that particular method. So which method? Bonus offer method. So after acting on it, what is that the result you are trying to get it? So expect is bonus dot to be truthy. That is you are given true or false. No, truthy means it is true. Whether it has been true or not, you are just trying to check that part of it. So there you can just use this particular concept. So what we have given here is bonus. So we are just checking this part of it. And then in employee here, let bonus is equal to false. Do something if the total number of employees in the department is greater than 10. So it is greater than 10. So bonus is equal to true. So that is the reason it is total 1 success. So it is successful. So you can just see that it has been successful. Now you can see that employee component testing for bonus. So this has been successful. So you are using that in first, what are you going to do is you are trying to declare an object, that is instance. After declaring an instance, you're going to act on that particular method which you are trying to use it. Then what is that result that you are expecting from that particular method? So this is what is called as arrange. You're arranging that instance, that is setting up, then you're acting upon the method. Then assert, it is the output what you're going to expect. So this technology, this concept is called as AAA concept. So we call this as AAA pattern. So now understood what is AAA pattern?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now, okay, we'll just try this to make this true here and false here. So we'll see what exactly happens. So it is failed. See here, it is false. So it is not true, no? So it is giving you an error. So that is where exactly you can just use this particular concept. So understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll just show you once again. So once again that remember that when you are telling arrange, you declare an instance of that particular component or whatever you are using. When you tell act, so act means you are trying to do something on that particular method. So invoke the particular method, what you want to do it, you perform that particular task here. Assert, see that you are going to get the output. So whether the output is true or false, you can just test it. So when you are using to be truthy. So it depends upon what you are trying to use it. So in this part of it, I am using this because I have used Boolean values. I'm just using whether it is true or false. Okay, so this is where exactly you will be using the concept of AAA pattern. So is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now you try how one is try to create an instance within the methods and just check. Then you create the instance outside and just check it. Then you create an object first and create an instance within the before each, and then just check before each or after each, and after each you make it as null. Before all, after all, you just test 1 second, and then you try this AAA pattern once. So after this, I'll just try to explain you the fixtures. So that is by default when you create a component, you'll get this fixture, no? So I'll try to explain you this part of it, and then spy all these things we'll just see into it. Okay, so now you try this. After that, I'll explain those two concepts.
Okay, ma'am.
So then you can just work on those two concepts.
Ma'am, there is a query about routing. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Ma'am, suppose I have a login page
Hmm?
and I go into my login page
Hmm?
with a data user.
Hmm? Hmm.
Okay, then there are